When you think about Scotland, coral reefs are probably not the first thing that come to mind. But the island of Mingulay in the Hebrides hides a secret beneath its waves. 150 metres below the surface of these cold waters lies a reef formed by a single species of coral named Lophelia pertusa. Dr. Murray Roberts from the Scottish Association for Marine Science is trying to answer the many questions that surround this extraordinary ecosystem.
The reefs have grown up over an area of several square kilometres, and they form little seabed mounds. Those mounds might be up to 5 metres in height, they could be up to 30 metres across. That provides a home for hundreds of other animal species to live. So they're very rich areas, and we're very interested in working on that diversity to try and understand why they're so diverse and how that diversity is supported.
The Mingulay Reef Complex has developed since the last ice age 8,000 years ago. When the ice sheet retreated, the Lophelia coral started to grow here and formed reef structures. Carbon dating has put the age of some of the coral colonies at several thousands of years. A collaborative research expedition between the Scottish Association for Marine Science and environmental organisation Greenpeace is aiming to get a better understanding of the extent and functioning of the Mingulay Reef. The team is using a combination of sampling methods and visual surveys to answer a set of fundamental research questions. For Dr. John Wilson, a retired deep-sea coral specialist, this expedition means a return to the reef he discovered 35 years ago. In 1970, he was the first to see this reef when he dived here in a manned submersible named Pisces II.
We were steaming along in a submersible looking, and I was looking out the porthole and the pilot was looking out his porthole, and we were going along. Then suddenly we saw this coral sitting, and there were several of them. And that meant that it was living there, and therefore this was a place of major scientific interest.
Since the discovery of these reefs, sonar surveys have created basic maps of the area. Using these as a starting point, the expedition is taking a closer look at the coral habitats by using different underwater camera systems. One of these is an ROV, a remotely operated vehicle equipped with a video camera. The ROV is launched underwater and can record images while hovering above the seabed. The footage it records 150 meters below the sea surface can be monitored inside the control room on board the ship.
We've been looking at the reef in detail using cameras. Now we're doing that to try and understand the structure of the reef environment. We want to know which areas are predominantly live, which areas are more composed of dead coral rubble. We want to try and understand how the local water currents influence where we find live coral. So we want to basically understand the environment better by using cameras to visualize it.
But this expedition has a significance that extends beyond the reefs of the Hebrides. Cold water coral reefs are found in various locations around the world, and many are still being discovered by scientists. But unlike the one at Mingulay, a lot of these have been already affected by a destructive fishing practice known as bottom trawling. As a result, many deep-sea ecosystems and their unique biodiversity are being destroyed even before they have been described by science.
Well, it's really clear that we need to take urgent action. And ultimately we want to see bottom trawling and other forms of destructive fishing halted. We want a moratorium on high seas bottom trawling so that we can look at and spend the time in researching these corals and understanding their value to the marine environment.
Scientific research on the distribution and basic biology of the reef-building coral Lophelia pertusa is of crucial importance for understanding these cold water reef ecosystems. PhD student Lindsay Dodds is working on exactly that, using live coral specimens that have been taken from the Mingulay Reef.
But there's still a lot of basic questions that we don't know yet about the species, even just simple things about what they eat, how much energy they need for the different functions of life. And the more that we understand about how this animal lives within its environment, then the better we're able to predict how it can be affected by impacts of humans such as fishing or climate change.
If the corals of the Hebrides reveal their secrets, this may help us understand similar deep-sea habitats in other locations and empower us to protect them.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, great.